Yeah, this is a legit thing. Anyone from the Caribbean or with a Caribbean background, like you've heard so many stories of mermaids, so many different stories. There was one particular story my aunt told me about how she knew a guy that fell in love with a mermaid. Unfortunately, that guy is not with us today. She personally feels that the mermaids took him to live with, to live amongst them. So, she doesn't think he's dead, but he's definitely alive and well with his mermaid lover. Now, this was back before I was born, so I can't really give you evidence about something I wasn't even born. But she recounts how every single day, at the same time, he would go out to the ocean. He would go to the beach every day at the same time. She never knew what it was. She would ask him, but he would kind of, I'm just trying to clear my head. It's nothing serious. So she took it upon herself one day to follow him. So Auntie Josie followed this man to his destination that he always goes. And she said there was something weird about that particular day, like that approach. She said as she followed him, she stayed behind so that he wouldn't see her. So when he approached the ocean, he kept looking left and right, like making sure there was nobody around. And all of a sudden, he had this little shell that he blew into. And when he blew into that shell, something like the water started bubbling, like ruffling. And this lady appeared out of nowhere. At this point, Auntie Josie was like, yo, I can't be seeing this with my own eyes. So he's walking towards the ocean, towards his lady. And he's speaking to her like he's talking to a regular, individual. Like, hey, how are you? I missed you. Oh, you're so beautiful. I love you. Things like that. And in his hand, he had a gold coin. She said he flicked that gold coin in the ocean, and all she can see were like fins that was like diving down to this particular golden coin. She also believes that they have somehow had a child. Like she feels that this mermaid got pregnant. So the guy is walking towards the water, and the water is getting deeper, like it's getting higher and higher and higher to the point it was up to his neck. And she said eventually his head was submerged in the water. Like he didn't come out for hours. So she got impatient and she went back home. Now she called a few people that she knew, and some people believed her, some people did not. And she said when he was at his home the next day, she asked him about it. Like, hey, what was this? I saw this happen. I saw you do this. She said that man's eyes literally was like big as the moon. And she told me that he grabbed her like, tell me what you know. Like, what did you see? And she said she was scared. She was like, I didn't see anything. I didn't see a fucking thing. I didn't see nothing. And he told her, do not tell anyone what you saw. He knew that she saw something if she's bringing it up to him. She said she followed him one more time to the ocean. One more time when he least expected it. She followed him one more time. When he was at the ocean, he had a bag with him. And she said it looked like the bag had like clothing, like essential things that you need when you're traveling. She said he walked to the ocean like always, and he never came back. Never came back. She said she went to his house. She asked around, like, have you seen this person? And he did not reappear. He has not appeared to this day. She really believes that, they were at the point of their relationship where he didn't need to come back to land. He didn't need to attend to his land life. So she feels that he has officially become a mermaid with his partner, with his lover, mermaid lover. One thing that really stuck out to me in her story, my aunt's story, is towards the ending. She said when he was walking to the ocean, that one last time she followed him, he kept sobbing, saying, Melanineth, I'm here, Melanineth. I'm with you forever, Melanineth. And she said as he's walking to the water, he kept saying that until his head was completely submerged. Wow.
Absolutely. This is the long-awaited mermaid encounter. Grab your snacks, grab your popcorn, because this one's a good one. So this story was told to me by my uncle, so that would make him a direct descendant of all of this. Keep in mind that my uncle is my father's half-brother. They share the same dad, but do not have the same mother. So this would have happened to my uncle's great-great-grandmother. We'll call her Mary. So Mary would often go to this body of water to fetch water. And mind you, she would go often and nothing would ever happen up until this one time. So Mary went as regular, put her bucket down and starts filling it up until she starts to hear singing and sirens. But this is broad daylight, so where is this coming from? So Mary starts to look around, just trying to figure out where the singing is coming from. Then the singing just kind of intensifies. So really, now at this point, she kind of like gets this feeling in her body that she has to go towards the singing. So Mary drops the bucket, gets in the water, and just starts swimming away. Just, I guess, trying to get closer and closer to the beautiful melody that she was hearing. So when she finally gets to a point, she stops and she looks back and realizes she is quite literally almost in the middle of this body of water. So as Mary realizes that she is dead in the middle of this body of water, she starts to realize, okay, well, maybe I should make my way back to shore. So as Mary starts swimming and making her way back to where her bucket was, she suddenly feels something grab her feet suddenly and yank her underneath the water. So within everything happening in fast motion, Mary would freak out. Mary would freak out and just starts to fight whatever it was around her. Keep in mind, Mary wasn't fighting one creature off of her. She was actually fighting multiple creatures off of her. And Mary recalls, as she's fighting for her life, it is as though these creatures are communicating with her telepathically, because she can almost hear them tell her, calm down, relax, stop fighting. It's going to be okay. That Mary realizes that within all of this tussle, that somehow she was still able to breathe. So some way, somehow, Mary was able to calm herself down and look around her and seeing that she was actually surrounded by 4 sea creatures. And these sea creatures, when Mary would come back to talk about her experiences, she described them as being half human and half fish. So after Mary calms down, they communicate to her that it is her time. She has a job to do, she has work to complete, so it's time to get started on her training. Mary, being extremely confused, would try to run away because this is wild. To which she would describe them swimming much faster than her because they caught up to her the second she even thought about running away. They would grab her and told her that she can no longer run away from her responsibilities. If she does not come and fulfill her duties, she is going to live a very, very difficult life. To which Mary would allow these creatures to take her. Now, if you guys want the full story about where Mary went, what she saw in that time, and what it was like down under for her, then you guys need to head over to my YouTube channel because the full story is already on YouTube. So no need to like for part 2, though you do need to interact with this video. Go ahead and go to my YouTube channel because the full story is there. My first YouTube video. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. I freaking appreciate you, abducted aliens. You guys got my YouTube channel to like 550 something subscribers so fast. And I just love you guys. And pray for me to go to St. Lucia. Thanks.
Let's talk about these mermaids in Zimbabwe. Now, I talk a lot about the mermaids and river mamas in Jamaica and Haiti, but I never talked about the ones that's in Zimbabwe, y'all. Like, there was a big situation with these mermaids here not too long ago. Now, let's get into it. Now, in landlocked Zimbabwe, folklore has not only just said that mermaids exist, but they state that they have supernatural abilities. And the mythical creatures have a bad reputation there. Like, people believe that they are very demonic. And some even believe that they're responsible for kidnapping, torture, and murder. And I believe it was in like 2012, they was trying to install some pumps for irrigation at a dam near the Eastern Highlands. But the construction had to be ended early simply because they were spotting lots of mermaids. Like, the mermaids were bothering the workers that was installing the water pumps. Like, these workers were so frightened, y'all. Like, they even sent divers down to investigate what was going on and what was the holdup on this pump. But the divers instantly came back and said that they would never go near that again. And they even stated how they hired Caucasian people simply because they was thinking that their boys just didn't want to work. But the Caucasian men that they hired even returned the same way that the workers did, saying that they would not return or work there again, y'all. Like, they were that frightened. And all of this was resolved once they hired a spiritual and traditional healer to basically conduct the ritual. And it was stated on some resources that the traditional leader held a ceremony that basically they had to like slaughter cattle and brew beer to appease the water spirits, y'all. But this whole situation was crazy because, like I said, there was many workers and people that spotted these creatures. And there has been many legends and stories in this area where people have spotted mermaids, because just because a mermaid take you doesn't mean that you won't come back. Sometimes they will bring you back. Like, many people in the area believe that if a mermaid take you, they will give you the ability to live like them. You will eat like them. You will literally do everything like them. And they might bring you back and grant you with some type of abilities if you come back. But this whole case was wild because this dam was literally plagued with mermaids. They literally had to get a spiritual team to make these mermaids like leave these workers alone so these people can have some irrigated water. But let me know if y'all ever heard about these mermaids in Zimbabwe, because this whole situation was crazy and it wasn't that long ago.
If you're closed-minded, you can't relate to this video, nor their existence, and you only know about your life. So stay where you are. This is for the open-minded and for the chosen. Let's begin. When it comes to our ancestors, these deities, these shapeshifters, they do live among us. And a lot of people are not enlightened because damn near half of the world is closed-minded anyway. So they only know about their world. They don't know about mermaids and how these shows and these movies like The Little Mermaid, who are trying to show you in a, kid, playful, sing-along way, they're telling you these beings are real. And if you were to see one in real life, what would you do? And sad to say, but a lot of people are so asleep in this world. If they were to see these deities on an island or a different country or a different place that has these sightings, a lot of these dumbass motherfuckers will walk over towards a mermaid. They see one in the water. Look, mommy, there's a mermaid. And you know what's going to happen? You think a mermaid's going to be like, hey, how are you? No, that's not how this goes. Mermaids are there to please an illusion that you are not aware of. For example, buddy right here, he probably thinks shorty beautiful as hell. But this nigga slow as fuck. Why are you talking to a girl in the middle of the water? And look at her body. He's done. He's not going to be in a casket, nor will he be cremated. He will be done for. He is going to go into her world, and she will put him in an infinite Tsukuyomi. If you don't watch Naruto, you won't know what that is. But basically, he will be in an illusion his whole life. So he may be dead. But if she puts him under a frequency or a siren, if this siren puts him under a frequency, he's done. He will never be able to get out of that frequency ever in his life. So he will be in a physical body in their world underwater, and he will be stuck in his mind for the rest of his life. So he will be in a nightmare, in his own hell. That's not even the real Ariel, by the way. And look at her frequency. Look at the siren's frequency. He's out of there. He's gone, coach. Pack him up. See? And of course, I know somebody's probably going to say, I don't believe mermaids exist because where's the proof? If you were to take a video or if you were to spot something like this and you told somebody, what do you think would happen to you if you were to post their existence on the internet? And if the news was to cover how many people get abducted by mermaids, nobody would believe a fairy tale. That's why they don't cover this shit. But people die every day because of sirens, and they live among us. So if you were to walk somewhere randomly, they may be right in front of your face and you will never know. Always be careful, but always be dangerous. I love you. Have a great day.
Let's talk about how Zimbabwe river mermaids will kidnap people, and those same people return years later with a story. So just to recap what we've already learned about Zimbabwe river mermaids, they are demonic forces in Zimbabwe religion, and they're incredibly malevolent. They're responsible for the kidnapping and drowning of a number of Zimbabweans. Locals believe that if a mermaid doesn't drown an individual, that person can live among the mermaids for a number of years. They eat meals of rice, fish, and chicken and live like the mermaids do. And then when they return, that person is a powerful spiritual healer. In 2020, a woman returned home after living with mermaids for over 40 years. When the woman was 8, she was fishing with her relatives when she was pulled into the water when no one was looking. The cause of unaliving was said to be crocodiles, but according to tradition, the family did not hold a funeral. So if a mermaid had originally chosen to spare an individual, seeing shows of emotion could drive them over the edge. So regardless of this, her family continued to do rituals every year for 40 years and pray for her return. In 2020, she was found in the water by a spiritual healer during one of these ceremonies. And it is said when somebody does return after living in the mermaids for a long time, they themselves become powerful spiritual healers. No pictures were allowed of the now 48-year-old woman, but people came from all over Zimbabwe to celebrate her return. That's all for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Let's get out of here quick.
I look wild because I just woke up, but in the comments, they say something about when you're in Jamaica, not to go in the waters at night. I'm Jamaican, 100% true, 100% true. Since I was younger, my dad told me a story of this mermaid he saw. Naturally, I mean, he grew up in Jamaica. And honestly, like, I've never not believed in mermaids, but the comments also say something that I 100% agree with, is that they don't look what we think. They don't look like what we think they look like. My dad told me that the mermaid he saw was like very dark in complexion and had rubbery skin, is how he described it, and had really long hair. I don't know if he could see the face. I have to ask him about the face, but I just distinctly remember him telling me dark in complexion, rubbery skin. So yes, they're definitely real. And if you go on vacation in Jamaica, do not go in the water at night.
I'm entering this mermaid conversation because growing up I was taught that mermaids were real, and I have a story to tell. Now, because I'm super hyped right now because I just got off the phone. I called a family member from Haiti who was known to have a lot of tales of mermaids. And so, y'all, it's wild. So, they're white, y'all, and then they're evil, and they kidnap people. That's the high level. Family member, and I remember hearing the story when I was a little kid about them going to the river in Haiti to get water for home to cook or something, and literally that's what they just told me. And they saw a part human, part fish person sitting on a rock. Skin has almost no pigmentation, combing their extremely long hair with a golden comb. And their parent got mad at them because they didn't try to steal the comb from the mermaid. I kid you not, this is the story. I have a lot of really interesting stories from Haiti simply because we're first generation Christian. And so that pre-Christian period with voodoo and all that jazz, it was spicy. It was scary. I like being a Christian. I'm just chill with Jesus. This family member saw the mer person. They startled each other. The mer person jumped up and jumped into the water and splashed. And this family member ran back to their home. Also, what was the other part of the story? Okay, also this person has a family member that was actually kidnapped by the mer people. So they often they kidnap people from the island and make them indentures in their world. And they were like, their world is like just another version of what we might consider reality. They're just demons. I got then the story went further left. I called this person up and they gave me more mer world tea, but I don't want to end up on that end of TikTok, so I think I might just end it here. But yo, mermaids, or the ones that eyewitnesses have seen tend to be white, but again, Disney's Little Mermaid is a fictitious world and a fictitious character, and it can be anything. So stop being racist. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my whimsical TED Talk.
The marine kingdom. Let's talk about it. Now, when it comes down to the ocean, I believe anything is possible. Simply because there's only 5% of the ocean that's discovered. So 95% is unknown. Now, the marine kingdom is basically this underwater kingdom that is basically like another world. Like, I'm talking about another dimension, another portal, another realm, whatever you want to call it, but it's known to be underwater and filled with things that you couldn't even imagine. Now, many people believe that the marine kingdom and the marine spirits that resides there are very satanic. Now, the marine spirits are the mermaids or the sirens or the creepy different sea creatures that you couldn't even think of. Rumor has it that the marine kingdom is filled with type of sea creatures that you couldn't even put together. You wouldn't have even ever thought of that. You might see a creature that has the head of a human and the body of an octopus. But the creatures that live there can take on many forms, like the mermaids or sirens, for example. They are not pretty. They are not what you think. But when these creatures come on land and they want to cause chaos and seduce and do all this lust, that is when they take on the form of this beautiful angelic-like creature or woman or whatever they appear themselves to you as. 9 times out of 10, they lure men to their destruction, and they'll just take them down there in their little kingdom and enslave them or do whatever they want with it. But like I said, rumor has it these creatures are supposed to be very demonic, hence the name the underworld, and that is where they live. But I believe these creatures are like human in a way. Some are good and some are bad. Now let me know if y'all want to hear more about the Marine Kingdom.
So I seen this comment. I was like, I definitely got to do a story time. So my mom has a cousin in Haiti, and he was at a marché, which you would call a farmer's market in English, right? They be having like all kinds of natural stuff out, herbs, medicine, vegetables, fruits, whatever you need for yourself. So he seen this fine ass girl. Mind you, as someone who's tapped in, I believe in like voodoo, hoodoo, shapeshifters, all that kind of stuff. So, bro, mermaids, they can shapeshift, right? They can shapeshift into very, very beautiful beings. So he sees this fine-ass brown-skinned girl with ginger hair. He walks up to her with his bicycle and he starts chopping shit up with her. Mind you, she's not saying a single word to this man. She's just shaking her head up and down and looks at him. So she has her sack. I don't know what they call it, honestly, in English, but it's like this big-ass bowl or something, and they would put their stuff in, like in the island. One would carry it on their heads. So she finished getting all her stuff, right? He's like, let me carry this for her. So he puts it on his bicycle. They start walking. I think he was like trying to walk her home or something. So mind you, they're in Udeo, which means like the countryside or outside from the city. So they walking in the woods and they come across this big ass river. He looks at Shawty and he says, so how you finna get home or get across this river? Bro, tell me why Shawty walk up to the river, looks at kid, grabs her shit. The river splits open and she jumps in there. He had passed out and didn't speak to nobody for like a month straight. I think it was a month or 10 days. I'm not really sure. I gotta ask my mom. But he didn't speak to nobody for like a month or 10 days. Me personally, I probably would have jumped in with her. I'm surprised she didn't grab him and take him with her, because they're known for like kidnapping people. Because like what they would do, they would shapeshift into like a beautiful ass form or fine ass girl, and they would kidnap niggas in the water. But I'm gonna save that story for another day.